Hello everyone, and welcome to Star Trek Mercury, a Star Trek Adventures 2nd Edition game using the rules by Modiphius Entertainment. My name is ELH the Game Master, and joining me are four lovely individuals who will meet in a moment. The only thing I have to say at the top of the session is my OBS exploded earlier in the evening, so I had to hastily rebuild things. So if I sound different or volume levels are, all over the place, please yell at me in chat, and I will do my best to fix them. But let's get into introductions out of the way, and we'll get started. Starting with AdCon. AdCon, who you playing, and anything you want to shout out?
Hi, everybody. This is Edcon. I'll be playing the part of Commander Kovat Paden today. And not necessarily shout outs. I guess I'll shout out my friend Journey. He's probably going to be watching this. Hey, Journey.
All right, hello to Journey. Forever GM, what do you got going on?
I'm Forever GM. I'm playing Lieutenant Commander Arthur Stafford, the science officer aboard the Mercury. I guess the only shout out I really need to do is to my friend Vault, who's probably going to be watching us later on. So, hey, Vault.
All right, Joggy Waga, what do you have going on?
Hello. I'm playing Lieutenant Commander Jensar Ebsen, your chief engineer and helm buddy for piloting and making questionable flight decisions. I want to give a shout out because the news that has me most excited is Reading Rainbow's coming back with Michael Threets, and I am so excited. So, yes, just some lovely news that's we need these days.
Indeed. Hopefully we'll get a cameo from LeVar. I would love to see Mr. Burton on screen again.
Oh, I would. And I think that the choice for the new host is a wonderful successor for LeVar.
Love it. And last but not least, Logger, what do you have going on?
Hey there. This is Logger. I'm playing Lieutenant Commander Rad Ram, the security officer of the Mercury. Nothing too much on my end, just looking forward to the session.
Awesome. Now, Techno, being the blender wizard that he is, has managed to make an intro for us. I do also have to shout out Kodiwak and NCC 60147, if I remember correctly. Sorry if I got it wrong, but basically, we actually finally have an intro, so let's run it and we'll get started. And welcome back. So, as is tradition for my Star Trek Adventures games, is I have the players do an opening log, and I believe Lieutenant Commander Ebsen has that honor today, so please take it away.
Chief Engineer's log stardate 70815.9. We are currently flying under the captaincy of Commander Kovat Paden on the NCC at 99001X, known as the U.S.S. Mercury. This is a beautiful ship with some fun little quirks and a lot of power under the hood. She is a delight to drive, and I cannot wait to see what she's really got. We are currently set to travel to the first transwarp hub and complete the first link in the transwarp hub chain. We are on our way to Starbase 2234 near the Azure Nebula, where while the Romulans and Klingons already know about the transwarp hub there, they don't know about us. But once Starbase 234 is on the grid, we'll be heading to Narada Station near the Shackleton Expanse for the hub, unless something else comes up. Meanwhile, we've got Starfleet to represent, and we've got some secrets to keep on this ship. It's going to be a fun ride.
Very nice. You may have momentum with that opening log, and based on chat contributions so far, I'm starting with 2 extra threat, and you guys are starting with 2 momentum overall. So well done there. So, where we're actually going to start is with the Mercury already having completed the transwarp jump out to Starbase 234. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because, well, you'll see in a little bit, but I wanted to see what you all would do in terms of arrival. Would this be something similar to Earth where you drop out a little bit of ways away from the starbase and motor in? Is this something where you just want to minimize your time and exposure to the Klingons and the Romulans? Like, what does that look like overall?
I'd mention we treat this more traditionally as we're still getting the hang of the transwarp drive, and so until we're able to jump in, until we're able to be sure that we can jump in accurately where we want to be, we should probably give ourselves a pretty wide berth of of where we're going to arrive.
Okay.
Just for safety considerations.
Okay.
And not upsetting any security forces on the transwarp hub that might react to a ship appearing doubly out of nowhere.
Also valid. All right.
Within a margin of error about 3 seconds.
Oh, yeah, of course, the 3-second things, of course.
3-second rule.
Let me paint the picture here. So, as you drop out of transwarp, what you see in the distance is the Azure Nebula, which is blue, as the name suggests. It's very picturesque, very pretty. You can hide in it if you need to, and it has been done many, many times before. But the Azure Nebula is just kind of in a backdrop. But immediately relevant to your current location is Starbase 234. It is a old Regula type station, so it's kind of got the bulb up top and then like 6 rods underneath, and then it has 2 to 4 platforms that are sort of perpendicular to the bulb underneath. But what really catches your attention besides the nebula in 234 is the transwarp hub itself. And very similar to a Borg transwarp hub, it is a very modular design of hexagons. So you see just these multiple hexagons that have been almost stacked like a beehive. And it is currently drawing power from the nearby star near Starbase 234. And you're also seeing that there's multiple defenses in place. There are freestanding phaser turrets, there are freestanding quantum torpedo launchers, and you also note that, if you were to look on sensors, you would note that the individual parts of the hub, the gates themselves, all have physical shutters that can slam shut and prevent entry in the case of a breach. But as you all land and you start motoring your way in, you get a casual hail from Starbase 234.
On screen.
All right. Appearing on screen is a very tired-looking human male. He's kind of balding. He's got the male pattern baldness where, there's that stripe down the middle of his head that has just completely gone. And then he has the sides, as it were. And 1 second, that's a jet. Hello, jet. But as, he kind of looks at you all and he takes a sip of what you assume is coffee. He says, well, you got here faster than expected. In fact, you're 3 seconds early. Well, that's exciting. My name is Commander Jefferson, and it's a pleasure to welcome you to 234 and your first transwarp hub.
Good to be here, Commander. I'm Commander Paden, commanding officer of the U.S.S. Mercury. We're here to get the station online.
Very good. I'm sending you the reception coordinates now in the transwarp hub. make sure you punch in the appropriate security protocols, otherwise, the entire array will open fire on you. And once you are inside, just connect your black box and you'll be good to go.
Understood. We'll get underway.
And he doesn't really say anything, he just kind of raises his mug and then the screen cuts out.
Professional, businesslike. Works for me.
All right, let's get to work.
Yes, indeed. Commander Ram, if you would, transmit those codes.
Affirmative.
All right, Ram, let's get you some momentum, hopefully. Though if complications happen, that's just fun. So, Ram, you are going to be doing a control and a security. The Mercury will be assisting you with a communications and security. The difficulty on this is a 1. And yeah, that should be everything in play.
Okay, I'm just trying to see if I have any focus that might work on that. Starfleet Protocol is the only thing that's even similar, I'm thinking.
I mean, Starfleet Protocol sounds good to me.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Complication range 1, right?
Yep, still at a 1. And you are starting already with 4 successes, so you go all the way up to 5 momentum. Well done.
Fantastic.
So yeah, Ram, I mean, you transmit the security codes, and, after a momentary confirmation from the array, you probably can do almost anything you want to this transwarp hub, and the array will not respond. Like, you have given, like, level 1 or level, like, 0.5 clearance codes here.
Excellent. Well, Commander, I don't think we'll be having any complications on that end.
Fantastic. Let's take her in.
All right. So, as you fly towards the transwarp hub, you are following the coordinates given to you, and it is another hexagon sort of grid that you're flying towards, but a specific hexagon in particular that actually has a bit of a platform as well as a bit of a Starbase construction to it, almost like a hub for the hub, if you will. But as you take her in, as you take the Mercury in, you are scanned several times by the array, but again, thanks to your command codes, you pass every single scan flying colors. But eventually, you come to station keeping, and a gantry begins to extend to connect with your airlock. And now is a question which is something I'll need to hear from everybody on. What does it look like when you move that black box? Because you have to physically take the black box from its part on the Mercury out to the hub itself. So what does that look like? Do you have people on guard? Are you all on station? Are you all part of the security team? What does that look like overall?
First question, how big is it? Because it's a black box, but how big is it?
It's about the size of a football, either American or European.
Yeah, they're close enough for the same size. Okay. I'm going to call it, I'm going to say it's the size of a rugby ball, just to be contrary. Split the difference. So it's not something that necessarily needs a hand cart or hover lift.
It is a little heavy. You probably want to take it on a hover lift or double carry it.
Yeah, it would. But in terms of security wise, it is easier to keep your hands free with that. So I definitely looking at, Ebsen will make sure that we'll make sure there's an appropriate grav lift to get that loaded up and probably secured just so it doesn't tip and roll, because even though it may be the equivalent of a quantum solid state technology, we're not gonna risk it. So that's gonna be where Ebsen's gonna start. I'm gonna hand that over to security to see where we might want to go in terms of the escorting.
Yeah, what do you think, Ram?
I'm thinking that sounds like a fair measure for me.
Okay.
What are we thinking? Like maybe 4 security officers?
For security, yeah, that sounds right. One to each corner, basically, looking in all directions of the clock.
Yep. Yeah, four with me.
Okay. And again, the question, are all of you part of this entourage, or is it just Ram and the security officers?
Unless Stafford is needed to help connect it or to the station to set up the link and everything. I think he's going to take the opportunity to let security handle this.
I was going to
Okay.
ask all similar. I was going to be like, do we think Jensar Ebsen should be involved in the setup, or should they be keep an eye on the helm and just in case something weird happens?
I think it'd be a good idea for Ebsen to be there.
All right, Ebsen, go along.
And
Do
he's
the
not no
engineering
great
stuff.
engineer, so
Yeah. And I imagine I would probably have some necessary security codes to input, so I'll probably be there too.
And you do. So to begin, paint the scene, you all step into the airlock, minus Stafford, from the sounds of it. And you cycle through the airlock and you begin pushing your way across the gantry. And what you note about the gantry is that it is collapsible by design, but it also, very similar to the hub itself, has a wide array of security implementations where there are parts where you have to stop, input a command code, a force field drops, you step forward, the force field raises again, and you just sort of like staggered releases or staggered segmentation as you travel down this corridor. And even more fun is that every once in a while you do see that there are little miniature phaser arrays that have been built into the gantry walls. But again, RAM did their job amazingly. So you get through all of this flying colors. You are perfectly fine. And eventually, you arrive at what is essentially a receptionist. Not a receptionist? Receptacle. That's the word I want. You arrive at a receptacle. And this receptacle is glowing a bright blue. And it is something that, if this was a video game, this would be illuminated with like lines pointing to it, or, the edges of the box shaped hole are lined in blue and glowing. Like, it's very obvious that this is where you put the black box, kind of a thing.
Hmm. Well, this is the first time activating a transwarp conduit. Or anyone wants to say a couple words?
don't blow up.
That seems applicable.
So I think
All right.
Jensar is going to look for the okay to start doing the engineering part, which is less hookup than normal and more, plug the device, the whole device in wholesale, uh, and see how this goes.
Yeah. Ebsen, if you do the honors.
All right. I'm going to spend 2 threat.
Thanks.
But I'm not going to tell you what I've spent it on. Instead, I need Ebsen. Please roll me 1d2. And the way you do that in Foundry is go to the chat, do /r or /roll space 1d2. A 2.
2.
Okay. So Ebsen, working in tandem with one of the security officers or RAM or the commander, whoever wants to help, because you definitely need 2 people to lift the thing off the lift itself. But you slot the black box in, and it becomes flush with the receptacle. And what happens is very, I guess, transcendent would be the word for it, because what happens is the gravity in this place shuts off, so you begin momentarily floating off the deck plates, and a large variety of noises begins to stream through, where you're hearing conversations across the quadrant, you're hearing the sound of binaural gel packs talking to one another, you're hearing the sounds of the universe itself. And there is almost like will o' the wisps, where there's these little blue sparks and little blue fires that sort of illuminate throughout the space. And this maybe goes on for about 15 seconds before everything comes to a stop. Gravity reasserts itself, and the black box is not forcibly ejected, but is like ejected like a VCR so you can pull it out, kind of a thing.
This reminds me a lot of a sanity loss or sanity effect I had in Beyond the Mountains of Madness. So my brain's going to there right now. There'll be that moment of like, okay, grounding self, literally, because hey, gravity sort of flickered off, and it wasn't quite like being getting a strong electric shock, but there's still that moment of okay, shake off the tingles, and very carefully and deliberately remove the box to move it back to the hand truck.
All right.
That was a little more metaphysical than I was expecting.
Almost can taste it. That's reminds me a lot of getting a shock though.
Yeah. Was life support supposed to glitch like that?
Not based on any of the documents I've read. We should out of courtesy we should ask for run reports, but I'd like a readout on what just happened.
Yeah, let's run a quick diagnostic of the hub before we leave.
All right. Ebson, if you would care to give me a reason engineering difficulty of 3, and yes, you have a focus.
So one question I realized I have engineering kit. How does equipment work for something like this? I don't think it works in this one specifically because I'm just running a diagnostic. But
So let me confirm one thing on that, because I do know that at least in first edition, if you had an engineering kit, it used to provide an advantage on engineering rolls. In second edition, if I had to guess, it's likely something where it gives you a trait, which if the trait is applicable, it works as what an advantage used to be. I'm just trying to see here if in the technical manual, if they actually give you any additional benefits. Let me see.
just since we're getting into the weirdness. Yeah, Forge is being a little funky. About half my sheet does show broken links.
Yeah, you'll need to reload because you got logged out.
Oh,
Actually, I think
interesting.
the forge is down because I just got logged out. And
Oh.
it's having trouble reloading.
Nope, I'm still in.
I'm still in.
One moment.
Is your frame rate jumping around?
No, I'm at 60 FPS holding steady.
Yeah, that probably means that it's desynced.
So the problem is chat spent too many Q points, and it's interfering with Forge.
I mean, that's certainly one way to complicate matters.
Yeah, I'm trying to reload. That'd be.
I think I am
fine.
back.
This gives me a chance to pour through the technical manual. So it's weird. Like, it tells me what a dual-lytic inverter does, and it tells me what a hyperspanner does, and it tells me what a trident scanner does, but none of them have actual rules attributed to them.
What about self-sealing?
Let me see if I still have the photo I took of the right page in the book.
Actually, Logger, you made the joke, but there actually is. They tell you what a self-sealing stem bolt does.
Oh my goodness!
Engineering devices.
As we're waiting for people to get in, let me read self-sealing stem bolt. Used as a fastener in a variety of applications, self-sealing stem bolts are an evolutionary improvement over first-generation stem bolts, which had to be manually sealed. Stem bolts are a common device found on most starships and facilities, and are often used in the production of reverse ratcheting routing planners. So they literally threw in a turbo encabulator joke. Well done, Modifius. Well done.
ELH, can you do me a favor and
Yeah.
kick me from this? Yeah, because it thinks I'm still in there.
Okay, one moment. Make sure I kick the right person and boop, try now.
So as I'm reading the engineering devices, engineering multi-tool / toolkit, it basically means I'm not going to be, it's like, if it's a thing that I would need, I have it. It's kind of like, having your tricorder is useful. That's basically what it is. I won't have to take a penalty for not having it.
Got it. Okay, good to know.
Yeah, it's the engineering multi-tool acted as a tricorder-like device to detect and diagnose system faults and can be used as a multi-purpose tool. The advent of isolinear systems, the multi-tool was rendered obsolete and many of the device's uses were supplanted by the tricorder. Tools were still needed to maintain and repair damaged equipment, so the engineering toolkit was introduced to provide nearly every tool a damage control or engineering team may need. So, would this need a tool? I've got a toolkit.
Okay. So it is kind of like a trait that just is like prepared or something. Okay. I think it's still difficulty 3, though. I think it's still reason engineering difficulty 3.
It's also the role for the ship because it still thinks I'm in the room.
Yeah, I did definitely kick you.
The only way to clear this is to literally stop the room and restart it.
Well, I can certainly do that. One moment. Let me just hide it on stream so stream doesn't see my login details by accident.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime,
Reveal
while I'm
the secrets.
reloading the game, what's everybody's feelings about Starfleet Academy? What are we feeling about that?
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm tentatively excited. New Star Trek show. Kind of wish it was set in the Lost era. We definitely need more in that era, I feel.
Personally,
I'm looking forward to telling you some new show a little bit more, but
Right. All right, game's back up. Everybody log back in if you can. But no, one thing I am kind of excited to learn about is I want to know what that whole Jem'Hadar Klingon thing is about. Like, what's going on there?
Oh yeah, that's definitely a mystery I want answered.
Yes.
All right, and let me show it for stream again. Thank you for bearing with us, stream. Also, Caspian, thank you for the page numbers. I appreciate it. All right, is everybody in now, or do we still have Forge being Forge?
I think it's all of us now.
I'm in.
Okay. All right. Well, then, as we were saying, Reason Engineering from Ebsen, difficulty of 3.
Yep, I'm just checking my traits real quick because, they could be relevant.
Yeah, they could.
All right. I am not on our own ship, so technical expertise does not come into play.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I have so it's Reason Engineering. I have a focus. Are folks okay with me buying a die?
Go for it.
Sure. Go ahead.
You buying it with momentum or threat?
Momentum.
Okay. Just one?
I'm using my opening credits momentum.
Okay. And you get the 3 you need. So, and it's been, a few weeks, so my notes didn't say who Ignitrix said this to, but who was it that Ignitrix gave the answer to? Was it the commander?
Commander.
Yeah.
Okay.
The rest of us just played billiards with her.
That's right, I remember now. So, Commander, would you have told your staff about what's in the black box?
I would have told Ebsen what's in the black box, because Ebsen needs to know.
Okay. So,
and
again,
Ebsen is way too curious about it.
Right.
Yeah, and I will eventually tell Stafford, because if he doesn't already try to find out on his own.
All right. In that case, just as a reminder, what is in that black box, what is in that neutronium cube, is dual-linked black holes. Literally just shrunken down singularities that are mobile. That's also probably why it's so heavy, because it's also neutronium. But it is something that is so out of phase with normal operations, like even a Romulan core, singularity core, isn't this advanced. Like, this is quite literally somebody has taken two black holes, crunched them down, and stuffed them in a box. So, Ebsen, when you use your tricorder to, scan the hub and scan the box, what you realize is that there's some funky science going on here. And I have to ask, are you familiar with the term paracausality?
Oh no.
Yes, and I can't remember it, so please redefine.
All right. So, my understanding and the way I usually use paracausality is basically something that operates outside of normal causality or normal cause and effect, where something can happen before the triggering action or
Hmm.
happen without a triggering action even to begin with. Literal spontaneity, as it were.
What happens when, it actually came up in Strange New Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was what I was thinking of, but I was just like, I'm gonna check. So the wonky science we knew, like no one sane puts two black holes in a box, like. But let's be honest, it's fun, so we did it anyway.
Hold my beer.
Yes, for science. So not surprising that it is really weird science. But there is perhaps that's a little uncomfortable knowing that this may have happened because of something that hasn't happened yet.
Mm-hmm.
So there'll be that. So Epson is, running the scan, getting the readouts, and kind of makes that like that little like disconcerted little grunt people make when they get not the result they wanted, whether it's a message, whatever. He goes, Commander, we might need to report this up the chain to station security. It might be nothing, but for straight for experimental science reasons, this might be a pre-reaction to a bigger event.
Are we talking temporal mechanics here?
I mean, that's the only way we've really come across. I've heard of stuff happening before the action, but we probably want to get Stafford's input on that. I mostly work with the physical. Stafford's going to have a little more in quantum than I would.
All right. But is the transwarp station active?
The answer is yes. It is perfectly active. It is on the network, and you can proceed back to the Mercury at your convenience.
Everything looks green, Captain. Everything's transmitting properly. We should be clear to go to the next one.
All right. Well, first things first. Let's get the black box back. Let's put the black box back in secure holdings. And Epson, why don't you go ahead and give Stafford a ring and let him know what's going on.
Sounds good.
Ram starts gesturing to his security folks to get back in their positions around it.
Okay.
So as they're heading back, Stafford's going to get a comms ping. Sorry, is it Lieutenant Commander? Yes,
Lieutenant Commander. Yep.
Lieutenant Commander Stafford. I need to share some, go over some diagnostics readings with you and pull on your science expertise.
Oh, of course. Should we meet in Science Lab 2?
Sounds great. Brush up on your quantum physics while you're at it. Quantum and temporal physics while you're waiting.
I'll get a pad. I'll meet you there in 10.
See you there.
All right. With that, he's going to head. Stafford is going to head back to his room and find the appropriate pad and head on down to Science 2.
All right.
Oh, You actually have the ability to gravity focus for this.
Hmm. Let's see here. I
I
think
think
I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to spend 2 momentum and give myself a temporary focus in quantum mechanics.
Okay. So by my count, that'll take you down to 1 momentum.
Yep.
All right. So again, to set the scene, Ebsen and Stafford are in Science Lab 2, but since this is an experimental vessel that is nominally supposed to be, small, like Defiant sized, how big is this science lab and what does it look like on the interior? Because this is your ship, so how would you have customized it?
Uh, I would assume Science Lab 1 would be the primary science lab, and that one would be probably fairly reasonably sized. I assume Science Lab 2 is smaller, more for general sciences, as well as we don't want to draw attention by going to Science Lab 1 sort of stuff. So, bright blue lights, well lit, uh, several data stations around the edges, and a big old console there in the middle for detailed diagnostics.
And if you allow me to add an element, let's also add a holographic display above that console in the middle because it's fun.
Oh yeah, holographic stuff is always fun.
I want a replicator. You always have to have a replicator in a science lab.
Oh yeah, in case you need some Ractigino.
Exactly. So, as you two begin looking at the data, Stafford, I need you to give me a reason and science. This is going to be at a difficulty of 3, just like what Ebsen had to face.
All right.
Can Ebsen assist?
If you tell me how.
So my thought about this is one, Epson's already been over the data, so they know what to highlight. But also with their focus of and also with the focus of diagnostics, they know how to pull out that information. Is kind of where I was going there. So that would probably be a reason science. It's not a great role for him, but
Well, let me ask this. How's your presence engineering?
look, anything with engineering is going to be better. Presence engineering is pretty good. I was either thinking that or insight, actually.
I'll tell you what. I'll give you either insight or presence engineering, whichever you'd prefer.
I feel like insight makes more sense. It's the same role either way.
Okay.
But I feel that since presence is more like he's not like encouraging him, he's helping him sort through the data. We're trying to find that eureka.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds fine to me.
And I'm just rolling
remember, on
one
an
die.
assist, you always roll just the 1 die, and if you have a focus, assists can use focuses.
Excellent. Yeah, I have several possible applicable ones. We're going with diagnostics.
Fair.
I should also mention, if we're using my temporary quantum mechanics, the complication range does increase by 1. So, did you take that into account when you said it was a complication range of 3, or should I bump that up to a 4?
Oh, I didn't even mention a complication range. You
I
know what?
thought
I
you.
did just get threat from chat. Thank you, chat. Let's make the overall complication range a 3 here.
All right. 2
All right,
dice.
that's adjusted.
Reason science. Using my focus.
And there's the 3 successes you need with no complications. Well done indeed.
what with the ship?
All right.
Well,
I
if
was
you
going to
want
say,
this
is
ship,
this going to be time for one of my talents to come and play?
well, one thing I'll say about the ship is if you want the ship to assist, it would cost momentum, but the ship could roll a computers in science.
Let's go ahead and do that. We might be able to gain some up to 2 momentum and stuff with that. So.
All right. And again, as a reminder, ship always rolls 1 die with a focus.
Yeah.
And you get 2 momentum
Yes.
back. The Mercury came to play. Good job there.
I love this ship.
So, Stafford and Ebsen, you two pour over the data, and the Mercury helps best she can. But I'm also going to spend 2 more threat here. Because as you're pouring through the data and as you're looking at the paracausality events and the temporal mechanics and the things that make normal persons' heads hurt, something strange happens. Where some of the code and some of the diagnostical data you're looking at begin to experience polymorphism, which basically means that it is changing before your very eyes.
Almost like the
And,
thing that caused it to corrupt hasn't happened yet.
well, all I'll say is that the code is changing. It hasn't crashed or anything, like it hasn't overloaded the console, but it is accelerating. It is becoming more and more erratic the longer you look at it.
I think we should shut down the terminal before this gets out of hand.
Yeah, let's shut down and see if we can reopen it in an isolated system.
Okay. You attempt to shut down the terminal. It
It
does
says
not
so,
respond
doesn't
to
it?
controls.
Stafford is going to get a bit of a worried look on his face and immediately tap his comm badge. Captain, Commander, we might have a problem down in Science 2.
Go ahead.
Well, me and Epson are poring over the data, and the data seems to be corrupting, and it's causing issues, and now the console is not responding.
Disconnect the console from the power supply.
Good idea. Epson?
Epson, very important daring engineering, difficulty of 2. It would be very funny if you rolled a complication here. I'm just gonna.
It would
throw
be.
that out.
Well, you said the complication. We still have the complication range of 3, right?
No, that was just for the data.
Okay.
Do I want to spend threat here to make it more complicating? Nah. I think the chance of failure here is already good enough, I think.
I will say, if need be, thank God for maintenance specialist.
Mhm.
I don't think any of my focuses actually apply to this.
Okay, so you're just rolling it straight unless you want to buy a die.
Yeah, because I don't think jury rig counts.
Nope, because you're
And this
turning
isn't
off something.
Right. Jury rig doesn't apply. Experimental tech doesn't apply because I'm trying to disconnect a known thing.
Mhm.
2
I'd say
successes.
go ahead and buy the die.
Yeah,
Yeah.
might as well.
Momentum or threat?
Momentum. Chat's giving chat. I keep seeing chat redeem for evil. They'll keep giving you threat. I believe in you, chat.
Keep it up.
Oh, well,
Okay, there's a
the
complication, but 1 second. Maintenance specialist. You may ignore the first complication rolled on any engineering task.
Okay, yeah.
Further, when you create any equipment trait, any character who uses that piece of equipment in a task ignores the first complication. So 2 successes, no complication.
Very valid. I love it. So, Ebson, what does it look like? Because again, we have sort of the circular console in the middle with a holographic display that's getting more and more glitchy by the second. What does it look like as Ebson goes for the power supply? Is it like literally just dropping down, ripping off the cover and pulling out the supply? Are you like pulling at your tricorder and or a piece of equipment and carefully ripping it out? Like, what does it look like?
So yeah, you kind of cover some of it. So yes, with ships and Star Trek, everything is very nicely hidden behind panels. Cables and chips are laid out in a way that every server administrator can only ever dream of. And so, but I'm going to go with, while I rolled the complication and it didn't stick, there is that moment where going down, the panel doesn't want to open at first, and they pull out essentially pocket multi-tool equivalent to the Star Trek equivalent to a Swiss Army knife, or the random screwdriver that techies always have on them. Pull it out, sort of have to jimmy it open a little bit, and there's a couple little sparks as they reach in and start and make the disconnections to cut down power to the station itself.
Okay. Safford, I need you to roll me 1d2, please. Same thing that Joggy
Coming
did
right up.
earlier. A 1.
1.
Okay. So, as Ebson rips out the power supply, The center console does deactivate, the glitchy holographic display shuts out, and as you check the other consoles in Science 2, it does not look like the corruption or polymorphism has spread. However, at the same time, I need to ask, what is RAM doing during all this? Now, RAM, it's your decision whether or not the black box has made it back into its special receptacle on the ship. But what is it that you're doing in particular while the nerds are nerding, as it were?
I would say that for the ease of convenience, especially since I had to step away for a moment there, sorry.
No, you're good.
We can go ahead and say that the box has just made it back, and Ram's been largely just trying to let the eggheads do the egghead work while he ensures that the box is secured and stable where it needs to be.
Okay. And that's important because that sounds like you're still near the box, more or less.
Mm-hmm. I would say so, yeah.
Ram, I need you to roll me 1d2. And again, the way you do it in Foundry is /roll or /r space 1d2. Okay. So, as the console is shut off, and as the holographic display in Science 2 shuts off, the black box begins to glow a little bit. And across the ship, there is a blinding flash of light for everybody. Then all of a sudden, Ebsen, you look around. Stafford isn't there anymore. Ram, you're looking around the security perimeter around the box. You're the only one there. However, Stafford, as the light fades and you look around Science 2, Ebsen isn't there. And for the captain, I presume, Captain, you're either on the bridge or in the ready room. You check either place, nobody there.
Paracausality. Stafford will just let out a deep sigh.
Immediate check. Badge comm. Lieutenant Commander Stafford. Computer, please locate Lieutenant Commander Stafford. Computer, please confirm star date.
So the computer doesn't do any of those things, but Ram, you hear that entire thing on your comm badge. It seems that you can communicate with Ebsen.
I'll tap my badge and Ebsen, Lieutenant Commander, can you hear me?
Can I hear him?
Oh yeah, you can hear each other.
I can hear you, Captain.
I got promoted.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Did I say the wrong one?
It was me, Ram.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
I'm just joking around. Yeah, lost visual on everyone, but apparently comm badges seem to be working, at least to some degree.
Mixed news on that one. Lieutenant Commander, I was paging Lieutenant Commander Stafford, who is no longer next to me after a bright flash of light, and computer isn't responding.
Yes, I seem to be alone as well at this point. Can anyone else hear us?
And you wait, and you wait. There's no additional replies.
Gonna take that as a no.
Good news, we can communicate to each other. Mixed news, you're not a hub that can communicate with everyone. I was kind of hoping that would happen, but that's too much to hope for.
That was what I was hoping as well.
Meanwhile, though, Captain and Stafford, how are you dealing with your newfound isolation?
Stafford is going to take a second to kind of walk around the console real quick. Just doing a quick once over to make sure that Ebsen hadn't been blown across the room or something. from a power surge, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Because, bright light, now they're gone. But once visual confirmation is set, they're going to get on the comm badge and be like, Captain, Commander, Epson is missing.
Well, that'll explain why I can't get them on comms. Stafford, what's happening?
I was double checking the consoles that were in Science 2 while Epson performed a procedure to remove power supply to the central console. There was a bright flash, and after a quick visual of the room, they're just not present, sir. And I think they might either be gone or out of sync, if that makes any sense.
ELH, really quick
Yes.
detail question, because two of us are in the room in the lab still, just
Mm-hmm.
different versions of it.
Yep.
Is the side of the console open for both of us with the power removed?
I was waiting to see if either of you would ask. Ebsen, for you, it does appear to be removed where you left it. Stafford, you can recognize this whenever you feel it is appropriate, but your version is not. Your version is sealed up.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I had to ask because I had two things going through my mind, which was we're gonna have to turn it back on, and the other was the curiosity of how different the iterations were. So thank you for letting me interrupt with that one.
No, it's a very important interruption.
With the risk of paracausality and quantum mechanics and temporal mechanics all at play, I think as Stafford is reporting this, that's about the time he's going to notice that the panel is back in place. And Captain, we
Yeah?
might be it might actually be us who are out of sync. Epson had removed the panel to the central console, and as I'm looking at it, the panel is back in place.
Terrific.
Mm.
All right, Stafford, I think it's time you came to the bridge. I think I need to fill you in on some things.
Agreed, sir. I'll be there as soon as I can. If you don't mind, I'd like to place a security seal on Science 2 just to be safe, and then I will be up there.
If you can find anybody, I'm having a little trouble figuring out who exactly is still on the ship.
Ah. Stafford to security. Anyone who can hear this, I need at least 2 security officers to Science 2 to be placed on detail out there. Anyone can hear that, please report.
And just like what happened with Ram and Ebsen, you wait and wait. Seems the only person you can communicate, Stafford, is with the good commander.
Well, next to security then, Commander. I'm just going to have to make my way up there.
Understood.
All right. With that, he's going to make his way to the nearest not Jeffrey's tube, turbo lift.
Okay. Now, the good news is that the doors work, the turbo lifts work, so you're not going to have to climb through Jeffrey's tubes. But let's check back with Ram and Ebsen. So, Ebsen, Ram, would you be meeting up? Would you be still staying apart? What does that look like?
Did we physically meet up yet?
You could if you wanted to.
So I guess the box was secured, right?
It
Even
is
in
currently
this
in the
version.
receptacle behind you where it should be.
Okay. Commander Epson, I suspect that we should try and see if we're physically in the same version of this area as well.
That's a reasonable check. Do you want me to come up to you? Do you want to come back down to me? Do you want to cart is the box secure, or do we want to try to get everything in the same place?
The box is secure currently. I'm torn. I'm not sure that I want to leave it unattended at this time.
All right. Assuming the reality isn't going to shift while I walk through a couple halls, I'll come up to you before we mess with this more. I have a feeling we're going to have to turn this console back on.
Understood.
So we'll see if the lifts work, and if not, we'll see how long it takes me to race the Jeffries tubes. Or maybe I should just do those to play it safe.
Well, just like with Stafford and the Commander, you do actually have the ability to use turbolifts and the doors. So you don't have to manually do any of those two. But it is your discretion if you really want to take the Jeffries tubes.
I mean, the ship's not that large.
No, it is small. It is ridiculously small for what it is.
So it's like instead of a 1 minute ride, it's like a 15-minute run.
Something like that.
Lieutenant Commander, if you don't mind waiting, I'd like to do this the old-fashioned way just to play it safe.
I don't blame you at all. I'll
See you in
keep my
10,
eyes
15.
All right. Since you are going through the Jeffries tubes, Ebsen, I need you to roll me a fitness and con. Yeah, fitness and con, difficulty of 1. Most to just get you momentum, but it's also funny if you fail or roll complications.
That's fair. I will say they are keeping an eye out just in case, something is clearly wrong, like wires hanging from the ceiling. I don't expect to find anything, but their engineer brain is running as they're doing this.
All right, fair and valid. And you get 2 successes, which means you get a momentum. So yeah, you go through the Jeffries tubes and the turbolift shafts and don't see anything wrong except for the glaring lack of people that should be here. But you do find Ram in the hallway next to the secure area where the black box is kept.
Well, I guess we're on-site confirmation. Did the Lieutenant Commander Ram, so I know it happened down where I was in science. When we were doing diagnostics, we took the power supply out because the console was unresponsive, and there was a flash, and then I was alone. Did anything happen up here? Did you see the flash? Did anything else happen?
Yeah, one minute I had my team here, and then suddenly they were all gone. I was all by myself. So it seems like a similar event to what you're describing.
Well, as you ponder what to do next, let's cut over to the commander and the lieutenant commander. So Paden and Stafford, you meet up on the bridge, and if I read the room, this is when you tell Stafford about the interior of the box.
Essentially, just to kind of play it a little bit. Stafford, glad you're here. As you can see, I've been trying to hold things together by my lonesome. And as far as I can tell, I think we're the only 2 people currently on board the Mercury.
That does appear to be the case, sir. I passed no one in the halls and no one was in the turbo lift.
And you're the only person I can reach on comms. I think in this case, I have some suspicions about what's going on, so you're going to need this. And he passes you a pad.
Stafford will take it and eyeball the header of it and just be like, okay, starts skimming through it, and his brows just start to furrow more and more and more. But at the same time, a big grin starts to cross his face. This is both terrifying and amazing. You're a micro black hole, a squeezed down little black hole. I didn't even think this could be possible. at this time. Maybe in the future, but oh my.
Not just one, Commander.
Scroll. 2? Oh. Oh wow. He's just gonna slump down into one of the many open chairs that are available on the bridge at the moment. Uh well, I guess that would explain the paracausality and all the other things that we were researching down in the lab before. Tell me, Commander, did you see a bright flash of light?
I did. I was in my ready room, and when I came out to check on the bridge, it was completely empty.
Hmm. So it seems to have been some sort of force that affected the entire ship. Hmm. Wait, we're the only ones that we can contact. Where
Which
would... Everything was hunky-dory down in Science 2, but it shouldn't have been. That panel should have been off. I'm thinking there must be some sort of connection between both the black box and what we were researching down in Science 2. Hmm. We're
some
going to have
minor
to...
hiccup when we were on the transwarp hub.
Hiccup?
For a brief moment, the life support systems had a glitch. We lost gravity plating.
Huh. Well, with this much power, I wouldn't doubt that. But at the same time, you'd think they would have figured, it might have issues with systems like that. We might want to look into this, sir. I'm going to have to probably go take readings of the black box here. Hopefully there's no damage to it. Then again, if the issue it started down in Science 2... is there anything Stafford could roll to see where he should start narrowing his search on?
Yeah, if you want a hint, you can give me a reason and science at a difficulty of 2. And you would have
Alright,
multiple focuses here.
so use focus, difficulty 2. I might go ahead and use 1 momentum to get another die.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
And you get that momentum right back. You stay at 2.
Alright.
So, there's a few things that occur to you, Stafford, and I'll just list them off. You don't have to go for all of them, but to me, if I were in your situation, I would do one of 3 things. 1, try to verify the situation outside the ship. 2, ensure the black box is secure and is not on the fritz, because that would be very bad. Or 3, try and see if Q's messing with you, because, flash of light, Q,
Hmm. Well, there's no mariachi band, no random cigars popping into our hands, so I can probably rule Q out at the moment.
I don't see a legion of attractive women just showing up on the bridge, so that seems likely, unless it's one of the other Q.
True. Sir, are we able to use the computer systems here on the bridge to get the view screen up?
Let me give it a shot.
So
Just sit down in the pilot's chair and start tapping around.
Yeah, so Captain, you tap a few buttons, and actually these consoles work. And sure enough, you are given an exterior view of the ship. And what you see is that the transwarp hub is out there. It appears to be active, but it's also in the middle of a pitched firefight where you're seeing the phaser turrets and the photon launchers they're all going haywire. And I don't mean haywire in like they're breaking down. I mean literally they are vomiting fire at unknown alien vessels. They don't look Klingon, they don't look Romulan, they don't look Borg, they don't look like anything you've ever seen before, or that the computers, such as they are, can make heads or tail of. If you want a visual example in your mind, imagine like the letter C, where it's almost like a crescent moon, where these crescent moon vessels are just swooping in, firing at the turrets, firing at the arrays, being blasted away by the defenses, etc., etc. As far as you can tell, the Mercury is still attached to the transwarp station portion of the hub, but it doesn't look like any fire has been directed towards you, if you get what I'm trying to say.
Gonna swivel the chair around to Stafford.
Should we get shields up and then secure the black box, sir?
Yeah, go. He points to the security station.
Stafford's going to run and start punching buttons to get shields up.
Okay. Now, this is a very important question, and we sort of addressed this in session 1, but as a reminder, the Mercury shield arrays and structural integrity fields are 215% higher than normal, which means there's a lot of power in those shields, a lot of power in structural integrity. And part of that is because transwarp is very, very hard on ships, even with transwarp coils, where you have to have a really sturdy vessel that also has a bit of temporal shielding. However, in mechanical sense, activating temporal shielding is a little bit more difficult than activating normal shielding, if you get what I'm saying here. So you have an option here, Stafford. You can either activate normal shielding, and it would be a difficulty 1 control security, or you could activate temporal shielding at a difficulty of 3. Now, if it changes your mind any, the Mercury would assist you with a structure security.
I'm going to go for the more powerful shielding just for safety because these C-shaped crescent ships seem to be doing a lot of damage out there. And we only have 2 people on board the ship, it appears, at the moment.
I actually don't know about that because if we activate temporal shielding, we might cut ourselves off further from, well, our prime reality.
Oh, you're right, Commander. I'll let you make the decision. So
Activate standard shielding for now. If we need to activate temporal shielding, we will.
understood. Activating regular shields.
All right.
So
I'm
just
programming
roll.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm just gonna make my roll real quick.
Yep.
Okay, so I see 1 success, and then again, structure security from the Mercury.
1 sec. Boop. Boop.
All right, so you get a momentum bringing you up to 3. So yes, you activate normal shielding, and not a moment too soon, as one of the Crescent ships does fire an errant, what looks to be a Tetrion beam in your general vicinity. It grazes the shield, the ship rocks a little bit, but as far as you can tell, the ship is fine. However, to cut back to the other part of your team, so Ram and Ebsen, you feel that strike, and in fact, as the ship rumbles around you, the ship does go to red alert.
Can you say that last sentence again? As something happened, the ship goes to red alert?
Yeah, sorry about that. So as you are, looking at one another, deciding what to do next, the impact that the other part of the team felt, the Tetrion lance that's, grazed the shields that they just raised, you feel that impact. You and Ram both feel that impact. The Mercury buckles around you, kind of a thing. And then the Mercury goes to red alert, at least in your version of reality.
I'm pretty sure the gut reaction for both Ram and Ebsen is going to be to jump to stations to get a readout. If that's a, please tell me if I'm wrong on that subset.
Oh no, I agree completely. As well as trying to see if the comm badges will communicate with anyone else again.
So yeah, we're going to be diving to our respective stations and sort of pulling up the situation report. We might not see anything out there, but it's probably still a good time to raise them shields.
Okay. So when you look out of the view screen, you see the transwarp hub as it was moments before the flash of light. It's active. It can move ships very quickly between 2 points. No attacking fleets, nothing out there. But you do see that the shields have already been raised.
Someone's messing with my console.
No. Lieutenant Commander, sorry, real quick clarification. Was Ram with us on the station when we plugged in the box?
Oh yeah, he was there.
Yep.
No, I don't think it's that. Do you remember when we had the weird hiccup on the station?
I do, yeah.
I ran reports, and basically the long and short of it is science is weird, time is weirder. Sometimes things happen, the reaction happens before the thing. And I told the captain we should let the station commander know that something might be about to happen to the station that's bad.
Is this similar to the anomaly that we discovered last time we went into transwarp approaching Earth?
I feel like the time gap's got to be bigger, but I think we're feeling something, and I think I think we're feeling something that's going to happen. We're feeling the shockwaves. I think this is a bigger version of what we experienced on the station. I think we need to hail the station and let them know something's coming. And I think we might need to turn that box back on, the console back on.
Understood.
So, whoever would care to try and hail Starbase 234 and Commander Jefferson, I need you to give me a control and a command. The Mercury will assist you with a communications and command. However, unfortunately, Chad has just redeemed evil and good, which means you have 4 momentum, and I am going to make this a difficulty of 4.
So, Ebsen's going to basically see if Ram, as the head of security, wants to do basically the one taking command. I feel like that's sort of we are in a dangerous situation. That seems to be where the next in line would fall. But I also have no problem making the call if Ram does not want to.
I can go ahead and make the call. So let's see. Can you say control and command?
Control and command.
All right.
Does the ship assist?
It does.
What's the complication range?
No complication range increase, stays at a 1. It is difficulty 4. The ship assists with a communications command. So you're probably going to want to buy dice or potentially use determination here, Ram.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same. I should have one determination back, right?
Yeah, everybody has 1 determination at the moment.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and use a determination.
Okay, which value?
Let's see. Our duty is to protect, I'm thinking.
Okay. So just make a note that you've used that value, and it'll affect your character advancement moving forward.
Will do.
Yeah, that'll get you 2 free successes to start. Make sure you check the box in the roller that you are using determination value, and it'll handle it for you.
Yep, I went ahead and got that.
Ah, there you go. You beat me to it. All right, so you have 2 successes at the moment, which means I need to see a crit success from the Mercury in order for this to pass.
Yeah,
feel free to roll for the Mercury. The captain's having a hard time logging back in.
Oh, no.
Oh, 1 second. I'll pull up the Mercury. All right, so what do I roll for the Mercury?
Communications command.
You said roll with focus? Yeah.
Always with focus, and it's always 1 die for the ship. Yep.
Ooh.
All right. So I think what's going to happen then is Ram, you try to hail the station, and much like your communications with the rest of the ship and the rest of the people on said ship, your communication gets nowhere. In fact, the computer basically says that the transmission failed.
Nothing seems to be working.
However, as you say that, back with the other two, I'll let Paden or Stafford decides who notices this. But you both see that somebody just tried to send a communique to Starbase 234.
Huh. Stafford, you didn't run into anybody else on the ship, did you?
The only communications I've been attempting have been over my comm badge, sir. Why?
Because someone just tried to send transmission.
Are we being boarded? Or no? Wait, what? What was the communication, sir?
Over to the local starbase. So they were trying to warn them about something that was about to happen.
Oh,
And to
so
give you even more, you would see that it actually would have been in Ram's style. So whatever Ram would have written in that communique, you're seeing that now.
I think this is Commander Ram.
then if he's attempting to send a communique, and we're able to see it, and it's something that's about to happen, but it's happening to us.
Send a communique back to the station.
I'm gonna send a communique to the station. Maybe it'll go back to them before they can send it to us. And quantum and temporal and paracausality can hurt the brain sometimes. Stafford is going to go ahead and attempt to send a message to the station.
Just let them know that we're here on the bridge. And, give them an update of what's currently happening.
Okay. So something that complex of a message is probably only a difficulty of 2. So again, it's a control command. The Mercury assists with a communications command, and it is a difficulty of 2. Complication range stays at a 1.
All right. Don't have any focuses to use on this, so here's Stafford's roll. This is not one of my better ones, but fingers crossed.
You still got 1.
True.
And then Joggy, if you don't mind handling the ship, because I think poor Captain here is still trying to get back into Forge.
Oh, of course.
log in
One
yet.
second. Let me click on the right user.
It's weird. Forge is loading, but it just says Star Trek Mercury, and there's no additional loading stuff coming in.
Oh, try
One
try
success.
refreshing a few times. That happens every once in a while with Forge in version 13.
This
Yeah,
is
it gets a little
this is number
quirky.
5 refresh.
Huh. Well, yay for Forge being Forge. Worst case is I can do your rolls for you if we need to.
Yeah.
But the good news, you got your 2 successes. So, Stafford, I'm going to let you tell Ram and Ebson what it is specifically you say.
All right. Stafford is going to try and be fairly brief. Commander Padan, Lieutenant Commander Stafford, on bridge, under attack, unknown assailants, shields up, possible paracausality issue. Send. So,
All right. And Ram and Ebson, that is the message you get.
All right. Do we? We can start communicating back. Apparently. I'll respond back with something along the lines of, "I hate time travel."
if there were emojis in the future, Stafford would be responding back with a sad face.
Well, I mean, there are emojis. You have Badgie, so you send back a sad Badgie.
No,
there we go.
That's why we don't have emojis anymore.
Not after the incident.
Self-aware emojis.
So yeah, now that communication between the two groups is set. At least we know how to contact each other. All right. How are the shields holding up, by the way?
Well, that's a very good question. Let me do a roll.
Yeah, if we're actually starting to
Oh,
take fire,
no.
I'm gonna move us.
Oh no. Oh no. That's a crit. That's double crit. Oh no. So I get 2 threat back because they had 4 successes. Let me check their weapon profile here. The Mercury, both versions, the same version, same sheet anyway. The Mercury takes 4 damage to your shields. And let me verify one thing real quick because this could be a problem. Let me see. I'm trying to remember what depleting does, and it's just not coming to my brain at the moment.
Let's look it up.
Here it is.
No.
Okay, so depleting cannot cause the ship to be shaken, which is intentional. Dampening, here it is. So it's dampening and depleting. All right, so here's the important part: is you take 4 shield damage, and you lose reserve power. So narratively, what that means is for Stafford and Paden, you are hit by another Tetrion Lance, and the power flickers, and your shields are fine. You only took minimal damage relatively. But back with Ebsen and Ram, your power almost completely shuts down. But it comes back up, but it nearly goes down completely. So the lights flicker, life support goes haywire for a moment, but you also feel the ship rock as it is struck by something in the future.
I wonder if we could set a trap for whatever this is.
Is there? So Epson still thinks that we need to turn the box back on, turn the console back on. But I'm not sure where RAM is on that one. So
Open to suggestions. If you think it'll
Yeah.
work, I'd say go for it.
I don't know if it's going to work, but it got us into this, so I'm wondering if we're, but so I think we might need to turn the box back on. But I don't know if it's going to work or if it's going to make it worse. But if we don't turn the box back on, I'd like to see if I can maybe put some reinforcement in to help mitigate the future damage.
Are you talking about the box or the console? Because I think the box is plugged in.
The console.
Okay. Well, Stafford, if I'm sure of anything right now, all I know is that we absolutely cannot turn that console back on.
We can certainly try on our end.
That's the strange part, sir. The console should be on. The panel wasn't removed in our paracausality timeline. So interesting.
Do you think that console's some kind of focal point?
It very well could be, sir.
Okay.
Should I go down there and rip the thing apart?
Go head down there. I'm gonna engage in an emergency separation from the station umbilical, and I'll take evasive maneuvers.
Sounds good, sir.
Just keep me appraised of what's happening.
Will do, sir. And Stafford's going to make a beeline down towards Science 2.
All right. So if this were a TV show, we would do one of those, side-by-side pictures of Ebsen on the left, Stafford on the right, and you both go to do opposite things to the console. But what's going to matter here is you all are going to be either assisting one another or doing 2 separate roles. I'll let you decide which you would prefer. If you are assisting one another, this is a difficulty of 3, daring and engineering. If you are doing separate roles, then it is a daring engineering difficulty of 2.
What do you think, Epson? Should we say we're assisting?
So it's easier to do it if we're doing it separately?
Correct. But also more chance for complication.
Look, I'm okay as long as I only roll one complication, I'm fine.
True.
Peter,
All
when
right,
the
so
dice fell.
you go ahead and roll first, Epson.
Though I'm wondering if this is the type of thing where determination comes into.
Could be.
Oh, that's a good call. I
This
could
might be
probably.
a good spend
This
for.
might be the
This
good
actually
spend,
might be
yeah.
a really good spend for the two for the where the pre-spend where it's an automatic crit, because I'm not sure which value is better. It's either sometimes you have to make your own solution, or if it breaks, you can always fix it.
Well, whichever you choose, just make sure you note that that's the value you use, because that's how character advancement works in 2nd edition.
I feel like if it breaks, you could always fix it is kind of what we're going with, because we're going hold my beer science, and we're already kind of halfway through. It's like, well, turning it off broke something, so let's see what happens. We're trying to fix it by possibly making it worse. So let's go with it.
Okay.
So I mark that I'm using it.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, how do I do this? I click using determination value.
Mm-hmm.
I click using focus because I have that.
Mm-hmm.
I have yes for this.
Yep.
And it's daring engineering.
Yep, daring engineering. Well, that's 4 successes, so you're at 6 momentum right now for Stafford to do their own daring engineering.
All right. I think I'm going to use some momentum to buy a die.
Okay.
I don't really have a.
too.
Oh yeah, true. I'll go ahead and knock down another and get myself some 4 dice. I don't have a focus, and I'm not challenging myself with values at the moment, so I'm just gonna roll. Fingers crossed, everyone. Knock on wood.
Well, 3 successes. You get at least 1 momentum back. So
All
again,
right.
Ebson left, Stafford right. Ebson, you go to reconnect the power core into the console just as Stafford is ripping it out. There is another flash of blinding light across the entire ship. When the light recedes, Ebson, you see Stafford. Stafford, you see Ebson. Paden, Ram, both of you are on the bridge. You see one another. The other officers that should be on the bridge are there, though maybe displaced from where they were sitting, because you would have boofed them out of the way when everything reconnected. But out of the view screen, there is no conflict. There is no crescent moon ships attacking. There is an active transwarp hub, but the danger seems to have passed.
Pastor hasn't happened yet.
Good question.
Uh,
We're gonna have to be looking at all the readings later.
so obviously we're in the different spaces. When Jensar sees that Stafford is present, they're gonna hit the comm badge. Captain, you there?
Ebson, good to hear your voice.
Did you pass on to the transwarp hub station command about the paracausality warning we got?
Just about to. I was confirming a head count to make sure that we all have all our staff on board.
I'll leave it in your hands then. I think it's more it's become less of a hunch and more of a pressing concern.
Actually, I want to talk to you about that, Ebson. I'm not entirely sure that's what's happening.
I'm willing to be wrong, but I'd rather they be prepared in case something's about to happen.
All right, how about you? And I'm assuming Stafford's with you now.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
How about you two head up to the bridge? I think we need to exchange notes.
Sounds like a plan, sir. Stafford's going to get up and help Ebson to their feet, at least.
What is the console doing?
I was waiting for somebody to ask. So,
Oh no.
the focus, if this were a TV show, the focus of the camera would have been on the lower part of the console. As the camera pans up, there's no longer a display of corrupted data. There's no longer a display of the strange readings that you determined. But what you do see is a holographic black hole that is swirling there. And it's not doing anything. It's just a black hole just chilling there. Virtual one, but it's just chilling there.
Right. Com badge. Can I get 2 security officers to Science 2, please? We're gonna have to review this in a second. Let's get to the captain. Yeah. Stafford's just a little phased because this was very
No,
weird.
no. He's not phased anymore. He's back in the same phase.
Oh, goodness.
Womp womp.
Womp womp.
All right.
That's when everyone laughs at Spock.
Right. Well, we do one of those old like 70s Justice League, in and out like doo-doo-doo-doo, and everybody's on the bridge. You can compare notes. Have at it.
Yeah, we'll head over to the conference room just because we're probably going to talk about some other sensitive information.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm going to pass Commander Ram a pad because I think he needs to be read in on this now.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Commander Ram, I trust keep us in the highest confidence, but I think you need to be read on this. This details what's inside the black box.
I see. I appreciate the trust, Commander.
Don't be. I'm sure this is about to give you just a massive headache.
I wouldn't doubt it. After the day we've had.
Okay, then.
Stafford is already writing up a report about the strange ships. Some to send off to Starfleet to see if any ship in the fleet has encountered anything or heard rumors about ships like this.
The commander's going to be grabbing a drink. From the replicator and then kind of sitting like leaning against the conference table. So, what do we think actually happened?
Well, we're not 100% sure, sir. Obviously, something began, based on the notes and everything here, after you all had crossed the gantry. The temporary loss of environmental controls seems to have done something. When the black box was placed back on the ship in its secure holdings, that was the exact same time me and Ebsen were pulling power from the console. Either one could have triggered the cause or been the cause. So, very interesting that we were shunted into some sort of timeline or future event or past event, most likely future. Though alternate timelines could play a part. There's just so much details to go over, sir. It's going to take a short while to parse everything.
It's interesting to me that proximity didn't seem to have much to do with which version of the ship each of us was shunted into.
Yes.
The two of you
Most
being
curious.
in the same room didn't end up in the same place. Instead, it was.
I wonder if any events like this have happened before in Starfleet history. Something to look into tonight.
We should probably debrief the staff as well to see what they experienced. The rest of the crew was somewhere during that time that wasn't with us, at least.
Very true. We might also want medical reports just in case anything is different, because it sounds like me and Epson were kind of running around. Could have done some paracausality run-ins to crew members.
All right. We'll take a census then with the crew. Ask everyone to submit personal reports of what happened. Thinking on it, I'm not entirely sure. This was this is a foretelling of a future event. I'm more leaning towards the idea of it of us slipping temporarily into an alternate reality.
Always a possibility, sir, but let's just hope it's not the mirror universe.
Well, I didn't see as much red in banners.
True. So I'd rather not run into my doppelganger, as it were, sir.
No, that seems to be just a good idea in general. But let's get a at least a preliminary report ready so we can pass it over to pass it over to Starbase 234. Let them know what the heck was going on. I'm certain they have questions.
So, as a
Sounds good.
little bit of a tidbit, real quick, as you start to look at your pads and check star dates, etc., if the start date is correct and you check across multiple pads just to make sure it's not a single pad out of sync, if the pads are correct, and you even check with one of the like wall units in the conference room, 5 seconds have passed between when the light happened and when the light happened again. So for everybody else, they were just, for all intents and purposes, they experienced only a blink of an eye.
Well, that's disconcerting. In the
I'm
end, we
assuming
may
that
have to file a report to Temporal Affairs.
yeah, our favorite. I'm assuming that our search on the specifics of those ship designs came back with no information or.
Correct. Yeah, there is no record of what those ships were, even if they were future vessels. Like, a future Klingon vessel is going to still have a certain kind of duranium to some degree. There's not anything like that, even where it is a completely alien design.
Hmm. Well, some to log. Uh, get the best and brightest at Starfleet thinking on this. Um, that said, Commander Paden, in light of what happened, do you think it's safe to use the black box again?
I'll admit, I'm having some growing concerns.
Hmm. We may need to run some further diagnostics and check in with the powers that be. For now, it might be best if we hold off any further uses of it until we hear back from command.
At the very least, I want a level 5 diagnostic on the black box and its related systems.
Sure,
As
me
you
and
say
Epson
that,
can. Yep, go ahead.
Commander, I'm dumping 8 threat. So if anybody has a talent where the GM spends 3 or more threat, it activates. But remember those security officers you left on Science 2? Well, Ram, you get a
Mm-hmm.
call from one of them, and it says, this is Science 2 to Ram. Lieutenant Commander, you might want to bring everyone down here.
Understood. I'll relay the message to the others.
Well, this is certainly ominous.
Let's go.
All right. So,
Ominous but intriguing.
the 4 of you get back down to Science 2. The 2 security officers are still posted at the door, and they sort of motion at the door and say, well, sirs, I don't really know how to describe it. I think it's a picture that speaks 1,000 words. And they lower the force field, and the door opens, or maybe the door opens and the force field stays up, whichever order you'd prefer. But remember how I said there used to be just a holographic representation of a black hole floating above the console?
There's a real one.
No, not a real one, but not a real black hole anyway. What you are seeing is nominally humanoid, uh, vaguely feminine in design, a dress of sorts, some sort of clothing that is made out of the darkest nights ever to exist, and has, hair that is again sort of nebula, stars, the void, eyes that are quite literally the deepest pits of hell, kind of a thing. Standard if a black hole was anthropomorphized, kind of a thing. And she's just sitting on the console very calmly, just looking at all of you, not saying anything, just hands in her lap, just very calmly looking at you.
Well, this is new.
Dan's going to motion to lower the force field, and he's going to step inside.
Okay, force field lowers.
Hello. I'm Commander Kovat Paden, commanding officer of the Federation starship Mercury. Would you happen to be on board? May I ask that you identify yourself?
And in a voice that I'm never going to be able to replicate, even if I tried my very best, I'd like you to imagine a voice that shifts between feminine, masculine, robotic, basically a cacophony of voices that eventually is understood as one singular noise. So it's a little bit of a weird thing to think about, but it's like an entire crowd of people speaking at once, but not with the same overwhelming gravitas, if that makes any sense.
We're not talking like Borg Legion voice here.
No, not Borg Legion, thankfully.
It's more harmonic.
Yeah, harmonic would be the right word to use. But whoever they are, they say, "Hello, Commander Paden. My name is..." And when they say their name, you all hear the name. You process the name. You recognize that a name was said. But it's as if it's just like if this were a computer. Like, binary computers, the computers we use in daily life, in real life, there's zeros and ones. This is the equivalent of a 3 being input into a binary computer, where, yeah, a word was said, a name was given, but you don't know what to do with that. Like, you can't even hold the name in your head, kind of a thing.
This is my experience whenever I hear a name in real life.
Same.
Paden's
Honestly, same.
That's why you just call everyone Jimmy.
Paden's going to blink just for like a couple times and then kind of rub one of his temples. I'm sorry. I'm not sure I'm biologically equipped to understand that. Do you have a nickname? A nom de plume?
I can't say that I do. I am only newly manifested.
I see. Well, to what do we owe your appearance?
Well, you activated me.
We activated you.
You did.
Are you from the black box?
And her gaze, such as it is, turns to you, Stafford, and she replies, I'm just going to use she, her for her, because it's just easier in my mind. She replies, I am the black box.
Ram is immediately going to furiously start reading this pad, trying to catch up.
What did I miss? Well, Captain, we're out here to seek out new life. There it sits.
Yes, indeed. You'll have to forgive us. We weren't aware that whatever was in the black box had sapience.
Nor was I knowledge of the fact that I could be sapient until you connected me to the hub.
I see. So you are the black box, but you also exist separate from it.
And she holds out a hand, and she doesn't create two literal black holes, but like holographic ones for sake of argument, or like some holographic analog of the binary black holes that are in the black box. But she just displays them and says, "It's interesting. I create myself because you created me. It's a very strange sensation where my birth happened before it actually occurred. But now that I'm here, I exist in this time."
Causality,
Feel
data density, and energy all mixing together.
bringing about some level of sentience and sapience. Fascinating.
I know this must be very alarming. I, of course, was very alarmed when I first became real. But I can at least assure you that I have no ill intent. I do believe in Starfleet's mission. I mean, it was why I was created, was to hook up the transwarp hubs. I see no reason why we can't continue that, but I am at a loss. This is a new experience for me. As I said, I am newly formed.
Yes,
Uh,
indeed. Well, so in that case, welcome aboard.
shall we get our guest some quarters temporarily, sir?
Oh, there's no
Let's
need for
assign.
that. I can manifest at will. If you need me to return to my quarters, I merely return to the box.
I see.
Fascinating.
Well, as you might understand, we are essentially a team of scientists. Would you mind if we began taking some readings? Physical, medical, I'm assuming also temporal?
I believe that is what Starfleet does best, from my understanding of it.
What is your understanding of Starfleet?
Only what I've learned from this console, and she passed the console she's sitting on.
Which would have access to our entire main computer.
The GM is smiling.
Right. Well, you're a quicker learner than I am.
But I believe you
Hmm.
still would beat me in Calto.
We might have to play a match sometime.
But then, whoever she is, we're going to have to come up with a name for her as a group, but whoever she is, she hops off the console and, kind of looks at each of you a little bit quizzically, head tilt, the whole 9 yards, then says, "So, medical scans. I believe that's on deck 4."
Yes.
Oh,
I can take her there, sir, if you want. Um, Epson, would you care to join me and we can debrief medical for this?
Gladly.
all right. And unfortunately, we are at session time, so that is what we'll have to stop for today's session. But yeah, what'd you all think? I thought that went very well.
Oh, it was so much fun.
That
Yep.
was a good time, yeah.
I'm
It
currently
turns out the
looking up.
penalty.
I'm currently looking up names of black holes.
Mhm.
I was literally doing the same thing.
I will also say the low hanging fruit is Stella.
Mm-hmm.
What about
But
Saggy from Sagittarius?
yeah, but I was gonna say low hanging fruit because Stella is a woman's name. But yeah, Sagittarius
Do we
or
know?
Terry from Sagittarius would be fitting considering we are within the Milky Way.
Do we
Yeah.
know of any black holes that are in very close proximity to each other that have a name?
Let's see. We got quasars. They're supermassive. Hypercompact solar system.
Okay,
I don't think there's much around the
binary.
terms. Oh, there we go. Binary. No, they're just scientific names.
Oh darn.
Yeah.
I'm
this
cool
is
with
what I call it
Sagittary.
EGSD2. Or OJ.
Well, I like Logger's suggestion. Nix. Nix is a good one.
Nyx is actually a really fun one. I'm fine with any of these names. As the commander, though, Paden, Adcon, I think if anything comes down to like a tie or something, you should be the tiebreaker.
Okay.
So we have Sag, Terry, Nyx. I'm fine with all of them. Those are all.
Let's put it up to a vote then. What are people feeling?
We could ask chat if they have a preference.
God, never ask chat. Oh, God.
That's why you give them a list.
Yes, of
Mhm.
course, a list between those three.
All right, yeah, chat, we have the technology. Let me run a poll. Why not? Let me see.
So I guess
Which name to use? Question mark. Nix.
it's so concerned about whether you could do a thing. You
Sagittary.
didn't stop to consider whether or not you should.
All right, I'll let that poll run for about 2 minutes. But yeah, I will say that, I know, temporal mechanics and paracausality is, hard on the brain, but it is unironically one of my favorite scientific concepts. So, you knew what you were signing up for when you signed up for an ELH game, is all I can say.
Oh,
Oh,
absolutely.
I love this stuff.
I don't think it's hurting my brain. I'm also like doing that game of like, okay, so I have this idea. How much of it would make sense for my character in game to have it? Because as soon as unplugged, I was like, we're gonna have to turn it back on. We're gonna have to turn it back on.
As soon as I realized that the panel was in place, yeah, the panel was going to have to come off eventually.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you heard the questions I was asking about matching details.
Mm-hmm. No, and one thing I would say is that had you managed to get a communique out to the station, you would have gotten the opposite station. So the Ebsen Ram station would have been the one under attack. Stafford Paden would have been the one back in the present, question mark?
Gotta love it when stuff like this happens.
Mm-hmm.
We might have to consider this for next time, but I'm wondering, like, combat just would have chronometers in them, right?
Conceivably.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I think Ram's first instinct was, as soon as he was aware of an attack, was to try and see, can we set a torpedo out there in that exact location to go off?
I mean, I won't say it would have worked or it wouldn't have worked, but it is something that you could consider.
We're
But
going to
as
have
soon
to
as there
start
was a
coming
less
up.
violent suggestion, I figured, yep, let's go with that.
Yeah. I mean, technically, you have gravimetric torpedoes, so it would make sense to, I mean, I like where your head's at. All right, well, chat apparently says that Nyx is the winner, at least as far as I see in chat.
Yep, it just popped on my end.
That's a bunch of Persona 3 fans.
Hey, nothing wrong with Persona 3. I love the game. Never completed it, but I still love it.
Hey, you can like Nyx without having ever played any Persona game.
Okay, chat's a bunch of Hades fans.
Okay, fair. Fair.
I'm just a Greek mythology nerd in general. I immediately thought of it because I actually named a ship in a previous game the Erebus.
Ooh.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, Nyx have been coming across as a name in different things for like 20 years or longer.
Oh, yeah.
It's a popular sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Look,
Let's
it's
go with
even in
Nyx.
trashy teen vampire novels.
Ah, that's where you got it.
Oh,
No, I
Lord.
think I heard it there before. I heard it before there, but I did listen to, oh God, which one was it? One of the vampire school ones that's not Vampire Academy. It was by PC Cast or PC Cast's daughter.
So what I'm hearing is I need to spend 2 threat to give new Nyx a copy of those books. That's what I'm hearing. Just a new life form.
Yes,
Here's some trashy romance. Have fun.
So it's called House of Night by PC Cast and her daughter Kristen Cast. It's oh man.
Your
Ooh.
silence speaks volumes.
Oh, I like this.
I read very widely, both classy stuff and non-classy. The incredibly popular series for a while. At a certain point, I just went, I can't anymore.
I'm just going to note in my notes 2 threats Ben for trashy romance. That's all I'm going to put in my notes.
Oh, look, if you want trashy vampire romance, I can find you trashy vampire romance to drop names on.
Well,
Sure
we'll have
we
to
all
talk about that
can.
off stream because there's only so much we can talk about trashy vampire romance on stream.
But the short version is Nyx is the goddess they worship in that.
Okay.
Very nice.
Nice. All right, well, Twitch, I was looking for raid targets and I didn't really find one, so we're just going to end stream here. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye stream. Bye-bye YouTube.
Bye.